Okay, let's start this conversation with me just being real. I believe that some of my dialogue within this video is probably going to offend some people if they lack the ability to just gather context. And so I believe that the totality of the message that I have here will help you to understand things from my perspective. I'm only speaking for me, right? I never made any videos with the intentions of me trying to badmouth a specific company or brand. When it comes to TVs, I like to stay within the space of companies that I trust. I have championed this message that TVs are not a need, they are definitely a want. In the slightest event that you feel like you need a TV, you definitely don't need a TV that has bells and whistles. Okay. Once you've determined what type of content you like to watch, as long as the TV can be a source to produce that content for you, you're set, right? But in the event that you've made the decision, like I have many years ago, that you want to spend the money to get the quality product from the companies that you trust, for me, it's going to be Sony in no particular order. Sony, Samsung, and LG. I'm going to be extremely critical because I'm investing my money with these companies, with these specific products in mind, so that they can bring me a measure of joy that I just like. I'm an enthusiast of many things, and I won't utilize this video to jump around to those different things. But as I've said, I have been popular on this space based on the TV review content that I've made. This video is going to be a solid effort that I'm going to make to explain to you why today I don't trust Samsung as much as I do Sony and LG in the space of TVs. If you'll allow me the grace to explain this to you, I'll offer you to watch this video. We're going to get it going right after this intro. YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host TKK, and we are back with another video. So thank you for letting me open up with this video in a rant. Normally I do it with my traditional intro with this transition here, but I wanted to just tell you I appreciate you. I've made some great contacts within this hobby, this thing that you and I are into with televisions and our love for televisions. I've got pretty good relationships with some people that work for Sony, Samsung, and LG, and none of those relationships net me a profit from a space of me selling TVs. Hence, in none of my videos do I offer any discount codes or any links. I'm not the bridge that will, close up the gap between you and one of those manufacturers. I come to you guys on this website willingly buying products and just sharing my experiences, okay? And it takes a lot for a person to want to get on camera. It's almost insanity, but it takes a lot, man, to get on camera, to be judged, to have your integrity questioned, as if you may be a person that is a shill, or having some type of ill intent practices to represent one of these companies, okay? So what I want to do is I want to have a discussion. Now, I haven't determined how I'm going to produce this content. This is not scripted. I had a vision. I'm currently working on some other content to post on the channel about cinematic gaming on the Bravia 8 Mark II. And so while I was just time editing and modifying that video that I'm working on, that if it isn't on the channel now, it'll be on the channel soon. I had this idea to just have a conversation, because in my room where I create my content, I have a 77-inch Samsung S95C. Now, this TV came out in 2023. I bought this TV in 77-inch. This TV was an in-game do-all, be-all TV. If you don't believe me, my content is actually shot in chronological order. I didn't know if I wanted to be a vlogger. I just knew that I love technology, and I wanted to take you on a journey, and I wanted to set you up so that you can just go from start to finish to kind of see where I started with this to where I am at my most latest and recent upload, right? So around the time when I purchased the 77-inch S95C, it was such an in-game TV for me that I built a dedicated home theater PC for that. I'll card that in right now just so you can kind of go down memory lane if you're interested in that type of thing. And I thoroughly enjoyed this TV. Now, I want to take a step back just a little bit, right? I want to go back to the year prior, 2022, Samsung S95B, right? This was a phenomenal TV. I even re-reviewed the TV I think as late as last year, I did a re-review of the TV and I spoke about how great it was. But in my personal opinion, with that TV, I felt like there was such a hype around the brand. I think that we, as a community, just missed all of the opportunities that that particular TV had. I feel like, we didn't have the experience of a qd-oled LED at that time. And so it was so radical. There was so much color saturation potential that everyone was just in awe, right? I personally preferred the Sony A95K of that year. I thought it was the better TV. Was it more expensive? Yes. But then is the same conversation as now. A lot of people question, why pay more for a Sony? Is it worth it? In my opinion, as a consumer, absolutely yes, it was. It had a better operating system, had a heat sink, so it had a better way to distribute, to exhaust the TV from any opportunity, to allow it to perform and run a lot better. I felt like, the colors and the settings within the TV were more welcoming to a person that was looking for that cinematic pop versus just everything that comes with a Samsung. I really don't want to go into that, but if you know, right? And while the S95B was just a TV that was so beloved by so many people, I feel like a lot of it was just the new factor of what the panel technology was, not so much as the model, right? All right, so let's step back into 2023 with the S95C, which again, I still have this TV. I'm going to actually be giving it to a loved one, my Uncle Tony. He helped raise me. He actually got me into technology a long time ago. He always just, when I was growing up, I was a little kid, man, he always just had computers and computer magazines and just always a lot of cool stuff. So, I really do credit him to my passion for technology just as a whole. So it's pretty awesome that I can give him the TV, right? But this my thought, like in combination with all the comments I've been seeing with what seems to be like the hate for Sony. I just think you guys don't understand, right? So just envision that, you spend $4,500 on a 77-inch S95C, right? And you go the extra mile because you believe in what the TV can be so much, right? You built this amazing PC kind of like I did. And, you have the issues that I've had. Now, if you're not familiar, I'll try to either card in or B-roll some old footage that I shot of the S95C. The biggest problem that I personally had with the TV was that when gaming at a high refresh rate, this TV would suffer from intermittent blackout issues. This was a very frustrating thing. Okay, I went through a series of whether it was my receiver, whether it was like a graphics card on my PC, all these different things I took a look into. And ultimately, it's the TV. The TV just has an issue where it's just not able to consistently produce the frame rate and the resolution that you may be playing in if you're gaming. Now, I have tested this in so many different ways, guys. I've gone as far as to just looking at content on a website, and I've had these issues. Now, this TV is in no way still in rotation. Hence, I'm giving it away to my uncle, even though I still have a couple of years worth of warranty on it. I'm giving it away to him because he's going to be able to use it in a great space, and he's not going to have the issues that I've had. But these are my issues. And when I raised those issues, when I showed video proof of those issues, it is extremely frustrating when you have a cult-like following of people that are just in such a denial about it being a possibility that their favorite brand could produce said issues. It's wild, man. It really is wild out here. So what did I end up doing? That same year, 2023, I ended up buying a Sony 77-inch A95L. And I personally haven't looked back since. Now, I want to say again, this content is not to badmouth one brand or the next. Let me remind you, we are in 2025. I purchased a Samsung S90F in a smaller capacity for my household to use for gaming. I've also purchased an LG monitor for me to use in my content creating space. I have the 5K, 2K. I've also bought the Sony TV, and I talked to you guys about the TVs that I was interested in buying this year, which was also the 55G5. LG just took a longer time to get that size out. And instead of me getting that size, I ended up getting the monitor. I digress. I bought an A95L the same year I bought an S95C in the same size. And while I was missing some things, it did have an increase in some things that ultimately made it a better option for me, right? So while it doesn't have 144 hertz, it doesn't have 4K 2.1 HDMI connections, I don't need it. I didn't need it. What I needed was reliability, and only for $500 more in a difference. Of course, at this time, when the A95L came out, the S95C was at a cheaper rate. It was running at like $3,800, $3,700. So now you've got people like, oh, is it worth, is it worth? Listen, whenever you are buying goods, let me just actually give you some personal about myself. I'm married. I have a wife. I send my wife to get her nails and her feet done every 2 weeks. She's got to get them eyebrows done. She's got to get them lashes done. She needs to be able to have funds to go buy makeup when she wants to. Everything that means something to you, that you are willing to invest in, it's all going to be based on whether you see value in it or not. So yes, a Sony TV is worth being more expensive because it's built better. And for me, my own personal experience, it has a more proven track record to be more consistent. Again, not saying anything negative about Samsung as a brand. They're obviously the most successful, and I'm very, very, very happy with what they have done for the TV community, producing the qd-oled panel to give us something versus like the contrast of what a white OLED panel from LG is. So definitely great game player in this space of technology in which we buy these TVs, but there's always going to be that scale that gets tipped by price versus reliability. And then it really comes down to who you're asking, right? This is why I always say when you're listening to these reviewers, and I'm not saying this to have any kind of beef with anybody, but I'm just saying, period. It can be a company like Ratings. It could be a huge content creator like HDTV Test. It could be a smaller content creator like All About TKK. You have to get the totality of everything that they have to offer in terms of context. What are they talking about? What products are they reviewing? Are they using the products a lot? What's the use case? How are they reviewing it? Does it seem like they're playing on an even ground in terms of like their integrity? Are they biased to one brand or the next? I can personally tell you, I'm not the person to go to if you're looking for inexpensive televisions or cheaper TVs, as some people like to coin it. They want something cheaper. I'm not that guy. I tried doing the budget builds. I ended up giving those TVs away from Hisense and TCL. Not that they were bad units. They just were not my cup of tea. I like what I like. But let me finish this discussion and get a little bit of content going on the Bravia 8 for your entertainment purposes. All right, this is Onimusha 2 Remaster on Steam, running in 4K. Max settings. I love Onimusha games. Let's talk about my favorite TV manufacturer overall. LG personally still holds that space for me right now. It's something about the company that they do everything really well. And while they don't produce a TV that uses the best panel technology, which is qd-oled, they have the right interface. They've got the right mix of features. The quality control is great. They got different levels for what you may be looking for. I'm currently right now on a 83-inch G4 as my main driver. That is my main TV. Size, performance is there. The company that I would recommend the most, Sony, 100%. The cost is there, definitely. Yes, you will pay more of a premium, but as I said earlier, TVs are not a necessity. If you need a TV, man, you go buy yourself like a freaking Insignia or something that's lower quality if you just need a TV. But if you're gonna go out and actually get something you want, you're gonna stack up, man. Buy a Sony TV. Buy you a Sony TV, man. It's gonna be the overall best TV that you can get in terms of picture quality. You're not gonna have to mess with it out of the box as much. And if you want to, the settings are gonna be there for you. I mean, they just overall are gonna have the best for the money. Like you're gonna spend the most money, but it's gonna be the best spend for your money. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, if you want variety, hey, Samsung is there. You know, they sell more TVs. They got more options, more models. They got 8Ks readily available. They got quantum dot OLEDs. They got white OLEDs. They don't have anything with micro lens array, but neither does LG anymore. I digress. They've got the LEDs. They got small. They got large. They got the micro LED concepts. They got everything. They sell everything. The company is OD, man. And they're very successful for the right reasons. But when it comes down to that pinnacle space, they have dropped the ball for me. In my opinion, they allowed many of you guys to just go crazy with S95B. I mean, I remember people telling me, I don't even want to recite, man. People were just going crazy over that. And like, I totally get it. But it's just a different thing when you're in this space of actually buying things. So I respect all the TV manufacturers, but out of those big three, it's kind of my take. All right, let's bring this to some conclusion, man. I appreciate you guys allowing me the space to rant. Sometimes I get ideas and I just want to have a discussion about them. I think ultimately I just want to leave you with this message. Buy what you like. Don't buy because of hype, man. Honestly, like, buy what you like. Don't buy because of hype. And just do as much research as you can. Like, don't go into making a purchase of any TV brand or model, right? Because even within specific brands, there's certain models that just might not live up to what you personally need. Don't feel like you can't ask questions. Like, that's the worst thing that you could do. But ultimately, I just wouldn't buy into any kind of brand loyalty. Now, if there's a company that has been tried and true and have worked for you, and you can go years and years and say that, hey, you've had nothing but great experiences, I think that's a wise decision to make based off of that, right? But I'm just here to give you my truth. This is all about TKK, literally all about TKK. So in this space of TVs and technology, my track record is my trail of what I've left here for you guys to watch is there. Now, I'm not promoting that you go watch all of my videos, but all the stuff is in chronological order. And when it comes down to, years later, still having a TV that I reviewed years ago, I think that says a lot about integrity and the realness of a person and their commitment and their investment into this hobby. Because again, I'll say this isn't something that I need. This is something that I want and something that I've decided to invest some of my earnings and my resources into buying into. And so I just use this platform just to try to have the conversation, to educate and raise some awareness with you guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you liked the video, thumb up. Let's have a discussion. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace, God bless, and as I always say, max love. We out.